Buck.
Here.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Here.
Commissioner McKee. There is a quorum present.
Okay, as you wish, please stand for the pledge and invocation. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk.
Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for all the gifts that you bestow on us. We ask for wisdom and discernment. We also ask your blessing today upon our country's flag and all the people that have served under it on this Flag Day. We know that you protect us and guide us, and we ask for that continuance of that. All these things we ask in your Son's name, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you. I do want to ask for an amendment to the agenda. We want to add the minutes of the special meeting that was called this past Friday. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Motion to add that to the agenda?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we amend the agenda to add the minutes of the special meeting on June 10th to the consent
And
agenda.
I second that. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
You just want that as number 9 on the general business?
It's on the consent agenda
Or
here.
consent?
Consent agenda, right.
All right.
And here's the explanation of that. We have sold the Maple Street property, and since I was gone, and typically I have to sign the contracts and the legal documents and such. So I was gone, so they had a meeting to allow Carrie to sign those papers, and that's all that was. Okay, motion to accept the consent agenda, and also I have an error on here. The initial that the consent agenda came out said hire new employee, singular, road and bridge. Well, the final published consent agenda, that was 2 new employees. So that has gone to 2 employees. So we have those changes. Motion to accept the consent agenda with those changes.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the consent agenda with the changes to the road and bridge hiring of 2 employees.
Okay.
And the addition of the minutes from last Friday.
And the addition of the minutes of last Friday.
Okay, and I second that. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, now we're finally caught up on the consent agenda. Now, bid opening for irrigation system. Do you have any bids?
We do not.
No bids. Okay, moving right along. Approving senior board resolutions. What happens on this? I don't see anybody from the collector's office. We always have a few. It's about $70,000 of late paid taxes, county property taxes, and a portion of that goes to the seniors. And it was, I think, $70,000. The budget, the balance of the senior budget went up to $78,000, something like that. They always say $50,000 in reserve for that cooler that can go out or whatever in a one of the meal senior board
Facilities.
facility. So they always set back 50. So they had about 28,000 to distribute. And so the board met last week, and they decided how to divide that. And so now we need to just approve that resolution that they had.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the senior board resolutions.
And I second that. Questions?
Do we have a copy of that?
Linda, do you have that?
We just need it for the.
Linda's our secretary for that.
She's got it, so if anybody's got questions afterwards,
Okay.
the breakdown, it's just the breakdown.
Right, how the money was spent. Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Approve ARPA funding for the jail projects. I don't see our CMAR man here. You're shaking your head no. What?
Still waiting on the justification stuff. I'll get it done.
Okay,
It wasn't
so we
supposed
have-
to be on the agenda.
We're gonna table that for next week then.
Yeah.
We're gonna table it or just take it off for now and
What table? It's fine. We'll
table's
come back to it.
automatically back on next week?
Right.
Okay, so we'll do that. That long agenda's getting shorter by the minute here. Road status, Ridgetop, that lady will not be here, so that one's gone. Now, approved deductible for salt shed damage. That is $10,000 deductible for this particular building. Linda's had all the buildings, 10,000 deductible. We
Yeah.
thought it was 5, but it changed.
So the new policy, I think, is 5, but Rhonda handles that, I don't know.
Yes, it's 10,000 on those structures.
Okay, now it's 1,000 on vehicles.
Correct.
But it's 10,000 on buildings, so this qualifies for that, so. But anyway, we need to approve that deductible expense.
And then that expense, am I right, the bid on that was 34.5 on the total for the damage?
Yep, that's to replace the tar and
Yeah.
for a contractor to come in and install.
And the tarp was, what, 5,000?
Tarp alone is almost $12,000.
Yeah.
They're gonna replace all of it?
Just the section that's gone.
Okay.
The other piece, the other 40-foot piece is fine.
That wasn't two pieces, it just damaged one.
Well, that's 12 square miles of fabric, what are you gonna do with that?
I don't know, we'll see.
Okay,
It may be ripped up, we haven't unfolded all of it.
We haven't really touched it since October.
okay. Okay, do I have a motion? on
Yeah,
that?
I'll make a motion that we approve the deductible for the salt shed damage at $10,000.
Okay, and I second that. Any questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, Taylor Engineering work for testing. This will be soil, testing, concrete slump testing, what else?
They,
Compaction.
Compaction,
They
is
tested
that part of the soil testing? Is that how?
no, this is like under the slab and the footings.
Percolation be part of that?
Where they put the base down before they pour the concrete, they
Yeah.
tested compaction.
Okay.
Then concrete, soil.
They're the oversight on all the rebar being placed in the concrete.
Soil testing is probably a whole lot like metal hardness. They could have broken, probably how they want to do it. Anyway, okay. We want to approve Taylor to do this, local company. And, is that through Smith and Company or how does
No,
that work?
not this, because all of our bridge stuff goes through Smith and Company. This is not through Smith and Company.
Okay. Say that again.
All of our bridge stuff goes through Smith and Company.
Bridge design.
Bridge design, so we don't wanna get that confused, because we have a lot of engineering and testing going on right now. This is for the road and bridge addition,
Okay.
not any of our bridge work.
Oh, this is not contracted bridge.
For the building.
It's for the
For the
building.
building.
Yeah. And this, am I right, this is a maximum of 10,000, which
Not
I
to
talked to
exceed.
one of the engineers there, and he said it would be below that, but the maximum is
Not to
10,000.
exceed $10,000.
Did you, is that right, Bridget, that the maximum was 10,000, and he said it would be below this?
Okay, is that per year, per bridge, what?
That's
No,
for
this has
job.
nothing to do with bridges,
Nothing
this
to do
is
with
only
bridges.
for
This
the
is the building.
Oh,
road.
the building, okay.
Only
I
for
messed
our
up on
building,
that.
not for the
Okay, I missed
jail
that part.
or anything else, this is only
The
for
Woodlawn building.
Woodlawn addition,
Okay.
only,
Okay.
so. It's just, not like Kerry said, not to exceed. The CMAR cannot hire this person to do this work, we have to hire him to come in and test it.
Okay, now
Because if
that's
the
what-
CMAR hires it, it's just a conflict of interest there, so we have to hire the testing.
Okay.
And he's actually out there on the job doing the testing as it's being built.
Yes.
He comes in, he's did his testing and he's made over 5 trips to, basically oversee and
Okay.
the project.
And it has to be a separate entity,
Right.
testing some on the
Sure.
person's work,
Buy, so.
another contract's work.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve Taylor Engineering work for testing at the Road and Bridge building project.
I second that. Questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye too, thank you. Approved contract with Eagle View for imagery project in 2023. Eagle View was pictometry, and we're in the process of translating. Eric, do you have anything to say about it?
Now it'd be for 2023. Usually we do it every 3 years. This would be the 4th year.
Okay,
I know like the Road and Bridge, they usually help cover costs with it. We cost share with Deloge, Bonterra, Farmington, Park Hills, 911.
a lot of different people use that.
Yeah,
Result.
utilize that.
Okay. And this is our flyover they do in the spring of the year before the leaves come out, so you get a good ground view and take pictures of the whole county.
Yes.
And- Okay, and we use that for records of assessment.
Right.
I use it all the time.
Mhm.
You see my pictures on there, I get that on pictometry.
Road bridge uses it a lot.
Yeah, okay. So that's where that all comes from. We use it constantly. What's the total cost on there?
The total
Roughly.
cost would be $112,260, and we pay that over 3 years. Our first payment would be due when they do the flyover in 23, and then 1 year after that, and then 25.
Interestingly, they have to adapt the airplanes that they use for this. They can't just take a Cessna airplane. They have to change the exhaust because the exhaust heat waves coming out under the plane, which normally the Cessna does, is where the lenses are, so that distorts the focus of the camera, all going through all that, so they have to really change the airplane and go through FAA and everything to do that. So it's quite a process. Okay, so we don't have do we have a motion?
No, I'll make.
Okay.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve a contract with Eagle View for the imagery project for 2023 at $112,260 total.
Okay, I second that. Questions?
Is that a multiple year contract or just an annual?
Eric?
That contract is for 2023, and we pay it over a 3-year period, split it up.
Is this done every year?
No, the last time we did it was in 2019, prior to that was 2016, so we usually try to do it every 3 years, but this will be 4 years. You're welcome.
And they came and reported on that about 6 weeks ago. They might have been out of town at the time, but they had 2 people from that company show what they did, show what they did in the past, and clarified what the contractual obligations would be for the next 3 years.
The latest pictures I have available to me, 2019. Okay, any other questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Aye. Okay, approval of use of ARPA funds for that. See my note up there, they're effectively depleted. We have promised maybe 40,000 or more than we have, but we're hoping for some, some of those numbers are very rough. And so there's a lot of estimates, we hope some of them come in under the estimate, we don't know that. So we're hoping that those funds will go a little bit further than it looks like. And also, we're hoping that, there'll be some grants written and take over some of it. So, we want to approve this in case the money is available.
Did we get that second tranche last week?
Did that come in? Not Jay, Parks?
Did that-
It's not come in yet, no.
Okay, but it's applied for?
I'm sorry, well, several counties reported that they
Well, yeah,
received.
it has to be with over a year since you received the funds, which was actually today, but, so we thought it might be today, but I would bet tomorrow.
Okay.
So we've done everything we're supposed to.
So we're hoping that we get the second tranche in this week.
Well, for instance, CMAR asked for 12 million, well, and he said this will cover everything we got. Well, we hope it greatly covers everything he's got. We don't know that yet, because all the numbers aren't in yet. So that's in the process. Okay. So I just put that note on there. We will approve it if it's available, and if the rules don't change for the application between now and then, all that. So that's the purpose. So do I have a motion to approve these funds?
I'll make a motion to approve the use of ARPA funds for the 2023 imagery project for Eagle View if the funds are available.
Subject to appropriation.
Can I clarify something?
Yes.
It would not be for the whole dollar amount of this contract. It is only for our portion that we are paying.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I might also clarify that I've talked to other counties and they have appropriated ARPA funds specific for their pictometry, as has the local cities.
Okay. Well, we hope that
And
continues.
we possibly could have these, but if at the end we have anything left.
But our portion is going to be
Right.
a lot less than what.
Yes.
It's
Yeah, that was-
512,000.
Didn't you say basically, Eric, it's a third?
In 2019, it was right at a third of the total cost.
So you're looking at approximately $30-something thousand.
Right.
So, you can't find 30,000 out of 13 million.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised.
Well, that's a safety factor I put in there. Okay.
You need a second.
Oh, I second the motion. Now, are there any comments? Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Aye. Other possible business? Anybody got any correspondence? Public comments? Departmental reports? Now, I know that, last week they talked about sales tax. I just wanted to get it on the chart and show how it's done. So you see the bottom line down there, it's dropping every month. But, we're still above the best year we've ever had, so I just wanted to show that. Yeah?
2 things. We send out absentee ballots for August, starting next week, and Board of Equalization starts on July 5th. I'll clarify, you're going to talk about the fact that we're off next Monday, and so that's the third make note of it, I think you're gonna talk about that on your slides.
Yeah.
But the Board of Equalization, we start that, when did you send out the assessments?
It would have been around the 1st of June.
Okay, so we have them scheduled on a Tuesday starting July 5th.
Okay. We no longer own.
Harold?
Yes,
If I
yeah.
may, before you move on, you made a comment about how our sales tax is decreasing in increase. And I think we need to, I would like to understand, you know, we're probably looking at inflation causing less spending, which is forcing that to come down a little bit. And I think as the economy eases, you know, we'll still be in good shape, but it's not gonna be the double digits we've seen in the past.
I think with that as well, I mean, as fuel continues to increase, I mean, we're a hub. I mean, people come from all different counties, or, you know, throughout the county to come here, come shop here in Farmington, other places. I mean, they make a weekend out of it. We always, you know, they come down, hit all the stores, eat lunch, eat dinner here. That's gonna stop. I mean, in my opinion, that's gonna stop. We're gonna drive here, fuel this high. I think
They're gonna go to Dollar General and their little burg.
Spending's
in
gonna
Annapolis
start,
or-
so we need to be, I think we need to be prepared for that. I mean, I agree. I think we'll continue to see increases. We're not gonna be in the double digits.
On the other hand, if people
Until
buy
the
the
gas
exact
prices
same
go back
amount,
down.
they buy the exact same amount
Yep.
as last year
Dollars,
in
Product.
in product,
probably.
it should be up 8%. That's where we, you know, and it's not, it's falling off because people are spending
I
less.
think we're gonna see people starting to grow their own produce in their yards, stuff like that. We're gonna start seeing as well.
But what's not reflected there is the amount of sales tax lost through internet sales. Where
Yeah.
people are staying home and buying things rather than traveling and buying from the local merchant.
Good point.
I agree.
Which will lead
That's
into
a
your-
major economic discussion there, on economic
Okay.
trends. That's a economics 301 class right there. Okay.
We have two other meetings today that I make note of because they all have been posted. One is, one company's given us a little bit of an overview of the viability of any solar on our properties, the jail, the Weber, and the second one is more informational meetings on the proposition P.
Said text today.
So,
Yes.
What time are those meeting times?
One is at 1, and the other is to the informational on the Prop P is in so
In this,
in this room, we may have to, if anybody comes early for the, it depends on how long the 1 o'clock. They're not giving us exactly, they've used those same type maps and taken all areas, and they do more in Missouri than any other, this company. Of course, if we would decide that this is viable, they looked at the land we have at the jail. They also looked at, because of it's only a one-story building, Weber may be the most, you know, because they've got a lot of surface that you could do the roof on that, and they're gonna tell us also the city of Farmington, who we buy our utilities from, is gonna be at that meeting because we need the joint effort. They have to buy it back, and they have to buy it at retail until they're past the point of our purchases, which is over $250,000. So we're not gonna get there. Then they buy it at wholesale, which is a significant amount less. But if we could get close to that, if we could get some type of, this company offers, besides you saying, okay, we're gonna buy these things and put them in, they come in and say, here's what your utility bills is. We're gonna give you this equipment, we will maintain it and everything, and we will guarantee 10%, 15%, or whatever less utility bills for the next 10 years, and they maintain everything. So there's a lot of options, and that's what we need to explore. If we decide to do something, then we'll have to put a request for proposals out, qualifications, and look at several companies and see if they, but they may come and say, this is gonna be a 30, 40-year payback, and it wouldn't make any sense. Or they may come back and say, we can guarantee a 15, 20% reduction every year, which would save us $40,000 to $50,000. That's what we're talking about on 1 o'clock, is just what the options are. And if the things are changing so much, and there's so many grants out there, there's so many, and the reason I asked the city of Farmington, because Ameren participates in a lot of this stuff. If you're buying it from Ameren, the costs of things. And so Farmington, if we're going to net meter, is what that's called, back to them, they have to be one of the participants.
okay.
We also have about 10 acres of unused land down in June too, pretty flat.
At jail, they got the pictures of it. You talking about the jail?
We're talking next to the jail.
Yeah,
down
they've
10
taken
acres.
pictures of this, and they're gonna tell us what they project
How many
generation
acres
could
do we
be.
have up north, John?
About 10.
See, we have 10 acres up north too. which
That
would
area
be
would take
amber.
a little more preparation than what would at the jail.
Yeah, it's not level ground up
It's
there.
not.
Now, the
Yeah, there you
footprint,
go.
the footprint of the Weber Road building is 26,000 square feet. And it's exactly the same floor space as this building, but this
But
is
it's
on 3
spread.
stories.
Yeah,
So it's-
that's why they think that might be more viable
Yeah.
under there, because you've got so much more surface area, if this is only 1 story building, and that's what we wanna talk about, what is really viable and what's not viable. The other thing is, they said the same thing about the carport concept out by here, if we're gonna redo it, what the payoff would be on that, and if there's any grants available, because there, to make that profitable, you'd have to have a grant for some of the structure. Part of that could be our utility supplier though, too. Any of these things that have done that, Ameren or Florida Power and Light, wherever they're at, have, the utility company has participated in that, and that's why, one of the reasons.
Well, the power companies will tell you that one thing they're very interested in is not increasing the demand. They don't wanna have to go out and build new plants.
Oh, absolutely.
So they're very interested in this kind of thing for that purpose.
Yeah, if we supply half of our 250,000 or more, and that's gonna go up, and put it back into this grid, that would be very helpful to farms and utilities.
Okay, all right. We no longer own the Maple Street property. Thank you, Kerry, for pushing that through and all that you've done to get that done. Crystal and Rich, I think is their official name. Now in that space, they've already poured asphalt or put down asphalt and increased their parking lot area. I drove back there this morning and looked at it. And, that was not our fault that it was delayed for 2 months. It's just the title company is really busy. So that's what that delay was. So thanks for everybody involved, and we look forward to a new, viable, good business out there.
And we've taken a piece of land that was off the tax rolls,
Yeah.
and putting it back on the tax rolls along with the sales tax that will be generated if they expand it into more gardening and that type of thing.
I expect a major deal out there. Closed Monday, for Juneteenth. So, agenda items gotta be in this Friday. Any other departmental reports?
Yeah, Harold. I would like to report, Clay Copeland's Road and Bridge. I know a big scourge throughout the county is litter, trash scattered all throughout the county roadways. And the Road and Bridge Department just does not have the time, the resources, or the manpower to be able to address scattered trash. Now, there's some adopt-a road programs throughout the county, but it's very minimal as to the number of roads that we have. So prior to COVID, I know the commission and John and I through Road and Bridge was working on trying to implement the use of prisoners from the prison that almost every municipality in the county utilizes for different things, just for this purpose of picking up trash and scattered trash throughout our county roadways. So we were working on this process, COVID hit, it all got shut down. So we came back into the process. Of course, during that time, we had 2 new commissioners. They have been diligently working towards this, and we just got notification yesterday that we was approved through Jefferson City, and Road and Bridge will start utilizing inmates for picking up scattered trash only. That's all they will do. We're in the process of getting a van and a trailer.
What do you mean by scattered trash?
Not bags of trash, not couches, not TVs, not dead animals, but just scattered trash.
Not bone hole trash?
Litter.
Litter.
Trash.
Litter. And if you run any of these county roads, especially close to municipalities, it's where it's the worst. And we just don't have the time to do that, especially during the summer months when we're the busiest anyway. But, so we were approved yesterday through Jefferson City through a contract with them. We're in the process of getting our equipment and our manpower and our guys trained. This will take a few weeks to get this all implemented. We hope to begin this program the 1st of July. We've cleared it through, of course, Road and Bridge is covered through the Teamsters Local 600, so we made sure there was no issues there as far as not utilizing union labor out on the roads. But that's not going to be an issue, and we will be utilizing them and hopefully get some of these roads cleaned up. And it will be a year-round process. It'll be a non-stop process. It will never stop. Why there's so much litter, I don't know, but there is.
I have a friend that lives right at the edge of town on Double O. He gets the sandwich wrappers. Now, I get.
Styrofoam cups.
Yeah, no, I get them out 9 miles out. That's when the drinks are finished out there.
Yeah.
So, but, our cost on this, we will provide, vests.
We'll provide vests and, of course, you know, we'll have, now, we don't have a van right now to be able to use, but the sheriff's department has allowed us to use one of those until we can acquire one, and we're looking through the surplus now to maybe acquire a van, for this. We'll have the van, the trailer, and we'll have a junkie on site. Now, of course, these prisoners will not be in any local businesses, they'll be supervised constantly.
Okay.
Is there a cost to the prisoners now? There used to be a cost.
There still is a cost.
I believe it's $1 an hour.
It's like $8
Well,
a day.
$7.50 a day, I think,
Right.
is the number. And that you have to feed them food from the prison.
They
Right.
bring their lunch.
They'll
with
bring
them.
their lunch with them.
Yeah,
It's
you
provided.
can't go get a hamburger
Nope.
for them. You got
Nope.
whatever
Absolutely.
prison provides.
And we'll have 7 or 8 employees that go through the training, it's a couple hour training that we'll have to go to the prison to do, to be aware of what we can and cannot do.
Okay.
But I think this, you know, every municipality benefits from this labor, and, this is just an opportunity for us to do a job that we normally just cannot perform.
Yeah.
You know, at the time.
Some of the rules we learned is that you never go to the same place day after day.
They'll
Can't
never-
schedule.
They never know where they're gonna be, and there's reasons for that.
Right, it'll be a different road every day.
Yeah. And it's
We may
surprise.
come back to another road 3 or 4 days later, but they won't know
But
that.
it's a surprise.
Correct.
And that's so the
Correct.
girlfriend can't put drugs under the red bag or whatever.
And it should be noted that these offenders are all nonviolent offenders,
Yeah.
and they're anywhere from 6 months to a year of being released.
And not local detainees, is that right, Dan? It's not jail, it's prison.
Right.
So they're all nonviolent.
It was not feasible for us to use county inmates because a lot of them are free trial and it's just much easier to do it through the state than it is through using our.
This has been a very,
When we started informing people, well, there's gonna be a prisoner. Well, they're all about to be released.
Anyways.
Anyway, in the next month, they'd be on, you know, it's not like this is somebody that's on a murder charge and is never gonna get out. These are all, prisoners that are on
as
their
Jamie
final
can tell you,
cycle.
they screen them. I mean, there's a big screening process.
So it's a big screening process, cause it's a big risk for the prison.
And it's a privilege for the prisoners, that's why they, you know, we've had some problems in the past over there, like, you can't take somebody, they'll say, hey, could you just mail this letter for me, you can't
Right.
do stuff like that. But for as them committing, problems out, they're about ready to get out. And if they do something wrong, it's gonna send them back to revoke their probation for the most part, and they don't.
Well, and most of them, it's a way to get money to get started.
A little bit.
You know, gets money for them to be on their feet when they get released.
But MoDOT and every municipality utilizes it.
Yeah. Now, this was an unbudgeted expense. We've been trying for this for several years. It's not something we put in the budget because we weren't unsure when it was
So,
gonna happen.
Louis, does that have to be then the budget has to be adjusted in November, or they can go ahead and?
We'll have a landfill expenses, of course, a daily
Okay,
disposal
yeah.
fee.
Is there anything that they have to approve before? I mean, we would,
You have to approve, I guess.
you have to approve some expenditure if we expend it and not be in the budget, don't we? I mean, this is not a big deal, but you have to acknowledge that you're gonna spend it.
The commission has, created this to happen. They have reached out to the Department of Corrections.
No,
They had to
that's
approve
fine,
it.
they have not done that through legal means. All I'm saying is next week, how about coming back
Sure.
and saying, this are the things that you officially have to
Sure.
rubber stamp and say,
Right.
we are
Sure.
approving this.
I was just giving a report, we just got
Yeah.
the
Well, that's what I'm
notification
saying,
yesterday.
before we put them on, they have to approve something.
Okay.
Rich, I don't know if you've got a comment or you're applying for a job on the pickup.
No, if I hear this correctly, our road and bridge teams will be supervising these
Yeah.
people.
One
Correct.
person. One person.
Are we comfortable with that?
We will have 3 to 4 work release inmates with one of our supervisors. There will only be one crew.
So that being said, how does that impact the work we normally do in road and bridge?
We are hiring for this particular position.
That's a good question. I'm glad you brought that up. That's why on our initial consent agenda, we were going to hire one road and bridge employee, and that was to replace a retiree. Well, when we found out that,
As of yesterday.
as of yesterday, when we found out that this program is gonna be implemented, then we're going to add another employee to our roster to dedicate for this.
But now, it won't be the new hire that does this.
Could be,
Could-
maybe not.
Okay, is this a bid job?
It will be.
Okay, so,
Somebody else could bid on it.
If I may, I'm not comfortable with that. I would have rather seen a dedicated officer supervising these people rather than a new road and bridge employee. Whether or not they're nonviolent, whether or not they're near the end of their term, it just leaving a funny taste in my mouth to put our people,
Rich, we do that, the city of Farmington does that, the city of Deloge does that, the city of Bonne Terre does that. MoDOT does that, they all do with non-post certified supervisors.
Dan, Jamie, do you have any comments on,
Well, and it's a very long vetting process to get for the offenders to go out. It's not a willy-nilly process. We scrutinize it as deputy warden. I was one of the last signatures on that, on who goes out. And you look at different things. The prison system provides training for these people. They do it throughout the state of
for
Missouri.
the supervisors?
For the supervisors. And on how to stay in close proximity with these inmates. Also, the prison will send out crews, officers, to do spot checks to make sure everything is going accord. And there has been cities, counties, or whatever lose their work crews for not following procedure as far as them being watched.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That provides the added layer of comfort.
Okay,
And
thank
it's
you.
to my understanding, Jamie, that if one of these inmates try to run, our guys or myself or Clay we're not supposed to stop them. You just call the prison, let them know
Okay.
what happened. You're not trying to restrain them or anything like that.
Now, we've been doing this for 20 years, over the city of Farmington. We haven't had even the librarians supervise their custodians there at the library before the library opens. The female librarians or whatever can supervise that. And down at the police station that does the lawn cutting. Because, once again, these are people getting out too much. They run, they're going back for years.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. I appreciate you repeating that point.
Yeah.
That's an
And I
automatic
can-
5 years.
Well, you didn't seem to get it the first time.
Attention to the state for 5 years.
And I cannot stress enough that these workers will not be replacing road and bridge employees. They will be doing the work that we cannot perform.
Is the supervisor armed in any special way?
And John and I both will go through the training as well. We'll be available to do
That would be a tremendous liability for us to our employees and not have the authority to do what they need to do.
Right.
The armed, being armed?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
No, they won't go.
Any other questions? Okay, any other departmental reports?
Harold, I'd just like to say one thing. The only problem I have with any of that is paying those inmates to do that work because the taxpayers are paying them every day instead of we're in prison. But they reported last week about their budget and their fuel consumption. They're running out of money. We did the numbers on ours, and if nothing changes from what it is right now, the last quarter of the year, the sheriff department will be out for our fuel budget. So we're going to have to make some arrangements there. There's no way we could have known July of last year these prices were going to be what they are now.
You mean when fuel practically doubles, that affects your budget?
It did look bad, yes.
Wow, okay.
We had inflated our budget somewhat, but not enough to cover this.
And for your information, any of those programs, which there are over 1,000 of these programs around the state, all have the same exact fee structure. If you would like to participate, you have to do it according to the state prison systems guidelines. They have, because in court, you have to compensate them something, and this is the rate that it's set.
I knew that. I just personally don't agree with
Well,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna tell you, there was a town over the weekend, south, that did not have gas. Not one station in town, it wasn't very far from here. You could not buy gas. They were all out of gas.
Okay. Yes, Louis?
Commissioners, I'd like for you to consider raising our mileage reimbursement. Federal government raised theirs, raises theirs July 1. Federal departments have had theirs raised to 52.5 cents, something like that, so.
We will probably next week, we'll deal with that.
What is a suggested amount? It's 47 cents now.
55, we
You're
were
not gonna get me
saying
on
around
that long.
55.
Yeah, but, okay.
I'll let you guys
55,
figure it out.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard any numbers anyway.
The feds raised it to 52.5 cents.
There's
I
a
believe.
Fed rate, a state rate, and let's get that and then make a decision where we would like to fall in.
And I'm thinking the state was around 62, the feds was 55, or no, 52, and then what's the state?
State's like 47, isn't it?
Yeah, it's below.
Yeah.
They, I think there's a formula, they run 10% below whatever the Fed, and then it floats with the Fed. But that's what I'm saying, let's try to find that out, and that might be something we ought to do. That way, if it goes down and it floats down, we can
Adjust.
adjust.
It's been at 47 cents for about 10 years, the previous commission presiding before me. I remember the day they did that, and at that time I looked, and it cost about 50 cents a mile then to operate, own, insure, drive, a car per mile. It's about 50 cents a mile for the total cost of operating a car. So at that time, we were 3 cents low, and now, of course, that's all changed. So it's probably time we do something about that. Okay, any other departmental reports? Just ran out of the meeting,
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
and I second that. All in favor, aye.
Aye.